That was a great session. Boy, it really gave me a lot of uh, promise that there might be promise in the future to actually make this kind of thing real. So I guess that Chris, you and I are going to wrap up kind of what we heard, right? That's what we're doing now at this
Yeah,
time.
that's our task.
So, well, I have to say this last session really helped tie things in a bow, it seemed to me, from where we started this morning. I love the fact that we actually sort of came back to talking about, could these data be used to identify attractor basins? What a great idea. May I start? Because I have this flow in my head of how things went today. We started the day with very theoretical conversations, and quite a lot of abstract thinking. We heard about several different kinds of theoretical models and ways of thinking about data, information theory, landscape and gene network models, dynamic heterogeneity, some pretty high level, high thinking concepts. But I think the bottom line was that we can't really rely on a reductionist approach, which is kind of where the field has been for a very, very long time, of looking at one molecule after another. But we have to think about emergent properties. And of course, the question is, how do we get there? Because I think it was Bill that said that our most powerful tools today are still molecular scale tools. They're not the tools that tell us things about what's happening at a systems level or emergent level. And then, when we went to the panel in part two, I think that the panel consensus was that significant resources are hugely required here to collect and analyze the kinds of data that we might need in order to get to this emergent property approach, to a systems approach. But then in this final session, what we heard is that it is possible perhaps to bring these kinds of consortia together to create lots of data, to accumulate lots of data that can be looked at in very sophisticated ways, like with artificial intelligence, but that of a large enough scale and real world data that it really could be incredibly powerful. Even though in those consortia, as big as they are, there's never enough data, we've heard. Okay, so but still, I think we have the idea that you could potentially get enough folks together, if you have a good enough business model, a good enough business reason, to pull very large sets of data together, share things, look at the big picture, get an idea of where big effects, where emergent properties are occurring, and then you can go back into drilling down perhaps a bit more in terms of targets. And of course, I think the thing that rounds this all out is the fact that FDA is embedded in these activities, or these activities are embedded with FDA. And so, the idea of putting together a common language and a cooperative means of collecting and sharing such data is not, it's not just a pipe dream. That's what I got out of today. So, Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. No, first of all, I wanted to thank all the speakers for such an engaging day today, and I learned a lot, and I know everyone's excited and learned a lot. What I really you summarized everything fantastically, Anne. The thing that I got really from the first session, that there are tools and there are thinking that can really get us to that, what's the best way to control the manufacturing process or the differentiation process to get to a certain attractor state, right? And that attractor state may be, the best cell to inject or the best cells to make a tissue or the ideal cells to which has the right CQAs. And I sort of wondered at that point, how do we know what that best attractor state is? Because we need that patient part of things into that systems analysis. And the next two sessions gave me that knowledge and the hope, I guess, that there exists that kind of data sharing, data consortium, patient data collection aspects, both in industry now that we heard, as well as academic medicine, where we are collecting patient data, putting them into databases, understanding how a therapy is affecting a patient at the individual level, but also in a group level. So now then we can connect that attractor state generation to the patient outcome side of things, and bring those two complex systems together, right? And you started this meeting by saying there is complex systems inside complex systems. And so I think this sort of crosstalk between complex systems is where we wanted to think about today. I think we had a great session, and it's really good to hear that the regulators are thinking in this space too, and there is support from the regulator side, and industry side. Not just it's an academic exercise, that this is going to be critical for the benefit of the patient. As Amy pointed out, it's going to ultimately reduce cost. It's going to de-risk the industry. It's going to accelerate products, and so I'm really excited about the future. And tomorrow we are really going to dig deep more into the analytical side in the first session. We are going to talk about manufacturing and supply chain in another session. And so I'm really looking forward to a very exciting day tomorrow.
And I would like to add my thanks to the great job everybody did today. I mean, the talks were all fabulous, and the panelists were fabulous, and the coordinators of the panelists were fabulous. And I have to say, it just really all, and in fact, there were no technical glitches. I'm just amazed about that. Anyways, great meeting on everybody's part. Thank you all for your participation. And
I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow we are starting an hour early. It is not at 11 tomorrow, it's at 10 o'clock tomorrow, so don't miss the boat there. And we really hope to see everybody back again tomorrow. I don't really have anything more to add right now. I think we will have a summary session again tomorrow at the end of everything, but we will also talk about workforce development tomorrow, which is a very critical aspect. As we start thinking in the regenerative space in this new way or improved way, how do we get our next generation of trainees? So I think there will be a fantastic set of talks tomorrow again.
Thank you, Krish, and thank everybody else. This was great. Great day.
Okay. Bye, everybody, and see you everyone tomorrow again.